Hello and welcome to another edition of Hindsight is Horrifying, the show where two seemingly normal adults, if there is such a thing, watch movies from their childhood and youth and, well, for those who were ever young, and talk about all the things that we didn't see when we were kids. Today, I, Jason, and my co-host, Darth.
Hello, listeners.
We are going to be looking at a movie that Jim Carrey was paid $450 billion to do. No, I'm just kidding.
Very Dr. Evil.
Yeah. It is one of the early Jim Carrey movies, not quite at the beginning. He had already done Ace Ventura.
I believe so. I'll have to look that up while you're talking.
This is just before Jim Carrey became a mega super huge star. Of course, I am talking about the period drama set in 18th century Portugal, The Mask. Darth, why don't you tell us a little bit about this movie?
Okay, well, to answer your question, it looks like both Ace Ventura and The Mask came out in 1994. So,
oh, really? Same year?
Yeah. February 4th, 1994 was the Ventura release date, and The Mask was... like I said, same year.
Wow, he was busy.
Oh, yeah. July 28th. So, yeah, The Mask was after Ace Ventura. Good call.
Truly a glorious year for our civilization.
Hey, you know.
It'll be looked back upon in generations past.
The aliens will look back on these forms of entertainment we had and then make those cartoons about us that are popular on the internet about them right now. Have you seen those? Where the aliens are like, oh, this small creature is vibrating and making a noise on my lap, and it's a cat purring. It's like, I feel happiness in my soul right now. It's funny, but yeah. So getting back to The Mask specifically,
yes.
The basic synopsis is when timid bank clerk Stanley
Bank?
Bank
I
clerk.
thought you said bank clerk.
No, bank
what's a
clerk.
bank clerk?
You could probably figure it out. Paging Dr. Google. Shout out to Katie. When timid bank clerk Stanley Ipkiss, Jim Carrey, discovers a magical mask containing the spirit of the Norse god Loki, his entire life changes. While wearing the mask, Ipkiss becomes a supernatural playboy exuding charm and confidence, which allows him to catch the eye of local nightclub singer Tina Carlisle, Cameron Diaz, a.k.a. Jessica Rabbit. Because, oh my God, did they play that up in this movie? Yeah, unfortunately, under the Mask's influence...
Her first role, right? This was her first movie.
Her first movie. But unfortunately, under the Mask's influence, Ipkiss also robs a bank, which angers a junior crime lord, Dorian Tyrell, Peter Green, whose goons get blamed for the heist, and just craziness ensues
who
from
the
there.
whole movie, I thought, looked exactly like the guy from Peaky Blinders.
Which one?
Dorian. The mid-level guy who ends up wearing the mask.
Kind of. I
thought he looked like the Peaky Blinders guy.
Oh, you're missing the Jessica Rabbit moment right now, Jason.
Yeah.
Cameron Diaz.
For everybody wondering what that beeping sound was, I just pressed the wrong button on my watch.
Skynet is coming for Jason.
Sorry.
They already have.
I was trying to put it on Do Not Disturb, and I hit the thing that makes my phone... the find your... Shut up.
How ironic. While trying to quiet your phone.
So anyway, Cameron Diaz's boobs.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you see when she walks into the bank. It's a very...
Well, to be fair, also her ass.
Okay, yes. You see all of her assets. So there's that. But she walks in and Stanley has just had this sad sack moment where he's gotten concert tickets for himself and this girl who works with him at the bank.
Wait, is that Amy Yazbek?
No, Amy Yazbek's the reporter.
Right.
But it's just a coworker, and she's like, "Oh, can we get an extra ticket for my girlfriend? She'll be in town." And he's like, "Oh, they're sold out. There's not any more tickets." And he's just such a sad sack and lets her take her friend. And it's very well established that Stanley is just
Cameron Diaz is just acting the hell out of this scene. You mean how did she not get an Academy Award
for tightest red dresses and most slammin' bod? I have no idea. But yeah, she's, and with all the cartoony aspects of this movie, they specifically put her in, like candy apple red dress to make her look like Jessica Rabbit. Because if anybody could do it.
Well, it's motivated though because she's trying to get.
She's trying to distract Stanley.
She's trying to distract him
because she's actually casing the bank while she's there. She's pretending to open an account.
That makes it not, just being overtly sexist. It's motivated.
Yeah, she's like a Bond girl. She's being all sneaky.
Yeah.
And elusive. But she's kind of hitting on Jim Carrey pretty heavily here, where she's like, oh, look at this tie. It's like one of those ink blot tests. And he actually corrects her. He's like, it's a Rorschach test. And she goes, oh, yeah, this one's like,
give me back my face.
This one's like a woman riding bareback on a horse. And it's so obvious.
I know. It's like,
and he's sitting over there drooling in the corner like, yeah, we got checking and savings and CDC. Well, that comes later in the nightclub where he turns into the Howling Wolf. But yeah, she's very clearly manipulating Stanley, trying to case the bank because she's got this very high tech purse with a camera in it.
Inside.
Which nobody notices except for, the viewer.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that the lens is like 3 inches wide.
I know. It's like you almost expect like a zoom lens to like stick out of the purse at some point.
That'd be a little too 80s. And this is 1994. Jason.
Actually, I like that tie. It's kind of a cool tie.
I don't think I've seen you wear a tie, so I'm
surprised.
I
swore off wearing ties. I wore ties every single day in my career, and I
his career as a male prostitute.
Yes. Hey, the Johns like it.
Wait, you were catering to the Johns as well? Okay.
Well, I didn't cater for them. They had to bring their own food.
Oh my!
Jesus, I mean, come on. That's gonna hit your bottom line.
Oh God. Okay. So a great dad joke and prostitute joke all rolled into one. That was great. Okay. So now we're on to the.
Look, it's the black guy who gets killed.
Well,
it's like the one black guy in the movie, and he's the only person who actually dies.
Is he though? No, because
the mayor is black.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, this guy is rocking a very Darius Rucker look. He's got the bald head with the goatee going on. It's very Darius Rucker.
Yeah.
And I don't know the actor's name, but yeah, you've got, I believe his.
And I love that he has the crime lord's headshot.
Well, yeah, because how else are you going to take your cigarette to burn his eyes out of the picture?
But it's just the fact that the crime lord evidently sat for a headshot for like who's who amongst criminals.
Hey, he might be a bigwig in the city back in the 90s. That was perfectly feasible.
Yeah.
He might be a councilman or somebody really important who just has some shady backdoor dealings.
Well, if Disney ever buys New Line, if New Line even still exists.
I'm not sure that they do.
As I said that, it might be too late. Because the mask is the spirit of... Oh, yeah, I know what you're about to say.
Yeah, okay.
That's the set from Ghostbusters.
Yep, it is.
Yeah. I was just going to make a quick reference that this could be a prequel to the Marvel movies because the mask was Loki.
Yeah. And then Jim Carrey left the mask on for too long and became a very exsanguinated-looking British man. So there's that. Tom Hiddleston, I love you. They just put way too much pancake on you. You're too pale. You gotta brighten up a little bit.
Yeah.
But so Jim Carrey, it's very well established that he's the sad sack. And he's every man. We cut to Dorian, the junior gangster guy who's got big ambitions and wants to take out the big crime boss Nico. He wants to take over the city and run things himself, and so you've got that menacing undertone in the background, and you find out that Dorian, the junior gangster, is dating Tina, the bombshell, who's casing the bank, it all starts to tie together. Regardless, Stanley goes to get his car from the Ghostbusters headquarters, which is a mechanic shop in this movie.
Yes,
and they tell him that he's going to need a new transmission.
It's the interior. It's the interior, which is because I read this, it was. The interior was a fire station in Los Angeles, and they used a hook and ladder exterior from Brooklyn.
Oh, gotcha. That makes sense.
And look, Jim Carrey's in a Studebaker. I actually like that car. Just get it fixed, and that'd be kind of cool to drive around in.
It would be. It's a very cartoony looking car, though. His car is shot, his little Civic, because he takes it in for an oil change, and then they end up ripping him off and telling him he needs a whole new transmission. But so he's forced to show up at the Coco Bongo, this exclusive club, in this busted old hoopty.
Do they still do that? Are there still places called the Coco Bongo?
I think there are in South Beach. Nathan Lane performs there on a regular basis, but they're drag clubs now. So,
real quick aside though, because Richard Jenny is the friend in this, and
he's Ipkiss's best friend.
Yeah, and I had watching this, it was like it hit me. It was like, oh wait. Richard, he killed himself.
Yep, he passed away a while back.
Yeah, it's like put such a sad, Like, every joke he makes, again, it's like, oh, he's such a funny guy. He must be happy. Those two things don't necessarily, go hand in hand.
Cool. Way to bring down this really fun movie from my childhood. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's better than Billy Madison.
Oh, shut the hell up.
This is like this is like something really good compared to Billy Madison. By the way, you didn't see the art for Billy Madison.
No,
that
I
put on
didn't.
the website.
I'm afraid to now. I'm sure I'll see it
with
later.
Darren McGavin holding the cross and the flames
God.
of hell in the
Why?
background. He was in the movie.
Yeah, he was. I might make you change that later.
I found a picture of Kolchak.
Oh, look, Cameron Diaz in another tight dress.
Ooh,
there you go. But yeah, so Stanley tries to get into the club with his friend, and he gets literally thrown into the gutter.
Oh.
And Cameron Diaz is there.
Excellent mouthfeel.
Oh, God. Moving right past that lewd Bob's Burgers reference. That has nothing to do with women, by the way. Yeah, Stanley gets thrown into the gutter, and then he has to get into the Studebaker in front of Cameron Diaz, and he's all embarrassed. And it's just, they keep proving over and over.
But she loves it. You see, she's already falling in love with him.
She's looking at him like the puppy who lost his way. That's how she's looking at him.
Well, this movie totally plays to that. There's one of the easiest tropes you can use in a movie to make guys
try.
Appreciate it, is the whole idea that there's a beautiful woman who's been passed around from handsome man, playboy to playboy and treated like a piece of meat, and you'll just be the one who treats her like a human being, and she'll fall in love with you.
And you'll fall in mutual venereal disease. It'll be great.
Yeah, she probably has one or two.
If that's the case, yeah.
Oh,
but the ultimate sad sack moment happens when, after being thrown in the gutter, after having a terrible day at work, being embarrassed in front of his crush, Jim Carrey breaks down on a bridge.
Yeah.
And then he sees this shape in the water over the side of the bridge, which he mistakes for a man. And he
which
goes
is really
down.
weird, because it's never... There's no explanation, and I like that.
What do you mean?
Well, the mask is just in the water.
It's in the water, and it's sort of... some debris has sort of clung to it, and he thinks it's like a floating body, and he's so sweet. He's like, "Hey, mister, I know CPR," and he just runs down to go rescue this person in distress, but it just turns out to be a mask.
Which is a line from Dumb and Dumber. I know CPR.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was from
Samsonite. I was way off, but that one took a second.
Yeah. We landed on the moon.
God.
See, I'm not a huge fan of Jim Carrey. I don't dislike him.
Bite your tongue.
But, a little bit of Jim Carrey goes a long way.
He is my childhood hero. But I think that's the thing, though, is that I saw that in 1994, I was very single digits. So, yeah, seeing somebody as a grown-up, and that's why Robin Williams broke my heart when he passed away, because they were both pretty huge around the same time in the 90s, like with Aladdin and The Mask and Ace Ventura and all the different movies, the zany characters that they would play. And as a kid, you look at that and you're just like, oh my gosh, I can do that as an adult.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. And I've always loved Jim Carrey and Robin Williams for that. They're my two heroes. Like, my parents can tell you as far back as they can remember, I've always loved The Mask.
Yeah. And the weird thing, though, is with Robin Williams, it was sort of the same with my generation, because, the world got introduced to him in Mork and Mindy.
Yep.
And that was before my time.
Uh-huh.
That started in the 70s, I think. I need to go back and look that up.
I wouldn't know. I wasn't born then.
Well, I'm trying to remember, because I only saw Mork and Mindy in reruns. Like, I never saw it.
Same. I saw it on like Nick at Night.
Yeah,
and it came on even later than the rest of the show. So I honestly didn't watch a lot of Mork and Mindy, because it came on after Dick Van Dyke, which came on around 10. So I had to be in bed by then.
See, but I am very curious about the origin of The Mask, and not specifically the origin of it, but this is what I was thinking when I was watching this.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Carrey gets the mask. As soon as he gets it, things start happening that involve the police and newspapers and all the
robberies and crime.
Robberies and people hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever had the mask before, you didn't hear about it. Like, there was no one had like, oh yeah, there's this guy out in Seattle who's got a mask on, and
that's because this is the opposite of Rick and Morty. This show started 3 weeks later, after things had already gotten interesting.
Okay, just some notes. You know, like, why should we begin? I say just begin it when it begins, you know?
Get out. I share my soul with you. I share this project, and you're a terrible person. Get out. But, okay, so here's a question that I have that never occurred to me as a kid. Ipkiss comes home, or Stanley comes home late, and his landlord is pissed off at him. Which I don't understand. It's like my apartment complex landlord could care less when I come and go. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's like this is in New York. Like, is it? No, it's in Los Angeles.
I'm really not sure, actually.
Shit, I don't know. No, I think it is supposed to be set in New York.
I think it's in New York. It's a New Yorky, Batman-y looking city. Well, because even in the beginning, you see Edge City, and it's kind of got a Batman feel to it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it is a comic book.
Yeah, because it's a comic book. So it is completely conceivable that because in New York, like, people will buy a single family dwelling that is like 4 stories tall.
And then rent out.
And rent every floor as a different apartment.
Got it.
And you might actually have the owner might literally live in the tiny little apartment at the top and rent out all the other ones. But this looks like this actually looks like an apartment complex. Yeah, it looks like a walk-up apartment.
Yeah, a little bit. But we have all of those introductory things that are going to come full circle later.
Ben Stein.
We see Ben Stein. I think we all wear masks.
I love Ben Stein.
Yep, and he's in another movie that we're going to be doing with the illustrious Morgan Rogers, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, whenever my dad finds some time in his very busy schedule.
Oh, but next time's going to be the best episode we've ever done.
Can we actually pause the movie? Because I've got a moment we can start talking about some stuff that we're going to do.
Very important developments.
So, Jason is alluding to the fact that we're making history on this show, listeners, because we have our very first male guest.
Yes.
Finally.
I said, look, our guests have been fantastic, but I have noticed that none of them had testicles.
Oh, wow. None of them?
I know. Well, and I thought, let's see what happens
when we introduce another
pair of testicles.
I don't want him to listen to this episode before he comes on.
Yeah, he won't. That's the thing.
Adam, I'm sorry.
No, we are our good friend, and if I may be so bold, a fantastic actor.
Oh, absolutely. That's an understatement.
And Darth here is too modest, and she won't say it, but I'm directing both of them in a production of
Much Ado About Nothing for Shakespeare in the Park in Alpharetta, which is the show we've been kind of teasing you guys about in the last several episodes.
Yes.
And it is finally coming to a head next weekend. The weekend of May 11th.
Well, unless you're listening to this on a repeat.
Well, in which case you missed it, but we're actually going to be good and get these episodes out on time so that we can promote the show.
But if you are listening to it on a repeat, it was fantastic. You really missed something.
Yeah, Adam and I blew everyone's minds.
It was incredible.
You missed out on.
You should drink yourself to death because you missed it.
It was the Haley's Comet of free shows in the park.
Yes.
But
fuck you, Hale Bob.
Oh God. So anyway, we actually do have a show coming up starting on, I believe it's Friday, May 10th, right? At 7:30 in Alpharetta at Wills Park at the Lions Pavilion. So anybody who's local, I know several of you have gone to visit Variant Brewing. My spies tell me this. So please get some Variant Crowlers. Hide them in your Yeti containers.
About to say,
Hide your beer in the Yeti containers. Dad, I hope you're not listening to this episode.
I was about to say, does your dad actually listen to these?
Okay. Anyway, I don't think he does. No, he'll listen to his episode for sure. But so we're performing next Friday and Saturday just to start off with. And we've got a couple more shows after that, which we can announce when we have Adam on the show next week. But he is my co-star. Jason has been directing us very arduously for the last couple of months, and it has
been miserable. Yes.
Yeah, we've been making his life hell. But we have our co-star, and Jason's actually in the show. He's being a little modest himself because he plays Friar Francis.
Yeah. I actually probably should take the time when we're recording this to tell you I'm cutting that. You know that whole big speech he has.
Yeah, you might want to do that.
Yeah, I'm cutting it because
I sit on the floor for like 10 minutes.
It's really, really long.
Adam has the advantage of standing up. I don't. So
no, it's getting getting cut.
Cool.
Yeah.
But so
True dat.
especially now that he's cutting all that nonsense, you guys definitely want to come see the show.
Yeah,
I can
it has a
recommend it even
minimum of
harder.
me in it. It has as little of me as I could work out.
But yes, my co-star and love interest in the show will be starring on our podcast next Tuesday, and we will be discussing. Jason, do you want to tell them, because you were so excited about his pick?
We asked him, we said, we sort of gave him an idea of what the show was about, and we said, come up with something that's in that spirit.
And we judged the hell out of what you picked.
Oh yeah,
so make sure.
Yeah, we made sure, and I said, you have to understand, I've had people make me watch Clueless.
Yeah.
Which, look, yes,
Guilty.
It has Alicia Silverstone in that tight outfit.
I was about to say, if nothing else, we pick movies where there's eye candy.
Yeah, there was eye candy, but I said, you need to come up with something that is the opposite of Clueless. What is,
boy, did he,
scientifically, if NASA were tasked with finding the opposite of Clueless, and he did it.
Given his background, I'm not surprised he probably came up with an equation.
Yes, we will not, his background involves many, many secret things of government
secrecy.
We'd have to literally kill the entire audience if we told you, and I don't have time.
Then we'd have to start a whole new podcast, and it just becomes a whole thing.
Yeah, and we'd be known as the people who killed their last audience, and then it's like,
usually killing it's a good thing, but in this case it wouldn't be. But
what
did he pick,
picked
Jason?
The great, epic Death Race 2000. The original Death Race 2000, not the remake.
Yes, I asked Meg about that from our Hercules episode to see if she was familiar with that movie, and she said, oh yeah, Jason Statham's in it. And I was like, nope, that is not what we're talking about.
No.
So, yeah,
no. Although Jason Statham, he could have been in the original.
Yeah, he's the proper age.
He would have fit in well in the original.
I can see it.
But
yeah, so we will have a super special guest star, and he's special for so many reasons, because he's in another show with us, first male guest, all that good stuff.
Yeah. And a memory like a steel trap.
Seriously. He
like spooky.
It's intimidating. But yeah, so that's happening next week. We will actually get the episode produced in time. And for all of our Aussie fans out there, for those of you who aren't willing to make the trip overseas to see us, don't you fret, our beloved Aussies, because we will be live streaming our show on them internets so that you can watch us do Shakespeare in the park.
Yes. It will be a live performance of Much Ado About Nothing, and we'll have details. We'll put that up on the website when we have the specifics of where you have to go to find the link. And
exactly.
All that stuff, yeah.
So we'll make sure you guys have all those details. For those of you who are overseas, we want to make sure that you're included in the fun. So
yes, all you Canadians, we wait.
I thought we got rid of them in the last episode.
No,
previous.
That's an inside joke for a friend of mine that we were at a bachelor party once, and we met these girls who were not incredibly intelligent. I'm trying to put that.
That's very diplomatic.
Yeah, they asked us where we were from, and my friend said, "Oh, we're from overseas," and the other girl said, "Well, where from overseas?" And I said, "Canada."
And you didn't want to tell her America.
Well, and they just said, "Oh, wow," and I'm like, "Yes, from way over the ocean,
where we keep the geese."
Yes, actually, that was the bachelor party where we convinced everyone in the bar that the guy getting married had gonorrhea.
Oh no!
It was fantastic.
Oh, you're a horrible human being.
It was awesome.
That's
it was
hilarious.
literally. We're down talking to all the girls at one end of the table, and we told them, well, it's his bachelor party, but he's actually here because there's a doctor who's very, very good at treating. And I said, "What is a disease?" And I looked at my friend and said, "What is a disease? It's like applause." No, it's not applause. And she went, "The clap?" And I went, "Yes, that's it. The clap. He's got the clap."
If you're happy and you know it, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, so The Mask, after that lovely promo, it's the variant beer. It makes Jason so happy, guys. And we haven't switched flavors. Let's
watch 2 hours of Jim Carrey doing his thing.
Yeah, but I know we're still drinking the same flavor, so you can make fun of us for that. I've got my illustrious raspberry lemon goza, and Jason is drinking his.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh, it's summertime. Let me switch to the winter beer.
Yeah, Dark Alchemy. Yeah. So
that's how contrary I am.
Oh, that's another thing we'll be judging Adam on and announcing on the show for you guys to see which crowler he selects from Variant Brewing.
Yeah.
All your selections mean so much on this show. You guys don't even understand. But yeah, so we actually missed a bit of a trivia when the thing about Jim Carrey in this movie was that he's got these big prosthetic teeth, which are very, very obvious. And the whole thing about those teeth was that they were originally just supposed to be used in scenes where he was silent. But Jim actually taught himself to speak around these gigantic... Yes, we're on a first name basis with Adam Sandler, too. We've talked about this. He taught himself how to speak around those prosthetic teeth. And that gave
he knew how to speak before.
Around prosthetic teeth?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Giant ones.
I see what you're saying.
Thank you. But yeah, and he has that iconic line. And I just love how they dress him in this movie, quite frankly. He's running around in zoot suits.
Yeah. That was a thing, for those of you who don't know, around this time.
The zoot suit riots were an actual thing.
Yeah, that was actually a thing. I saw, God, who did I see? I saw like 3 zoot suit bands. And I can't remember a single name.
I'm just going to let you dangle.
Holy crap. You know, them bands from the 90s.
Yes. Zoot suiting sort of came back in the 90s for a minute.
Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, they were ska.
Yeah, that was no, not the same thing at all.
Great.
That's from Clueless.
Hang on, I got to look it up. Well,
you can look it up.
Yeah.
Well, that's how Lou Bega made an appearance. I don't know that he really did zoot suits, but he did kind of the Mambo number 5. So there was all that kind of music going on, the swingy kind of music. But yeah, so Jim Carrey puts on the mask for the first time, and they actually
Cherry Poppin' Daddies.
Yes, the Cherry Poppin' Daddies.
Yeah. Okay.
I was going to let you dangle, but...
Damn.
Paging Dr. Google.
Yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, so he's got a busy night in this first night of wearing the mask. He destroys the apartment building with a sledgehammer, chasing after an animated clock. Scares
like you do.
Like you do. Living in a cave, like you do. He falls out of like a 4-story window.
That is a very dirty joke there.
It's incredibly...
That is the dirtiest joke.
This is one of the other things he does, is he basically like completely befuddles this gang that's trying to mess with him, and then he turns into a circus barker and pulls a condom out of his pocket, a used condom out of his pocket.
Yeah, a wet condom, yeah.
And apparently that wasn't written. Jim Carrey improvised that. That was all him. Why are you rolling your eyes at me?
No, just...
Is it really that surprising?
He improvised the wet condom.
He did it himself, apparently.
Well, he's not the first person to improvise one of those.
Oh, my. Moving right past.
Well, to be fair, actually, I guess typically that is sort of planned.
No, but like, you start to see this. He's got that cartoony aspect from the beginning where he's chasing the clock, but you really see it when he's the circus barker.
Yeah.
Because he starts to make balloon animals for the gang members that are chasing him down a dark alleyway. And I like how he makes the first one. He's like, "It's a French poodle. Now get out of here, kid. You bother me." Like, it's just so
W.C.
random.
Fields, yeah, great W.C. Fields reference. Yeah.
Yep.
So I have a question.
Oh, yes?
Okay, so the mask, as it is established, subsequently, it embodies the spirit of Loki, blah, blah, blah.
In every Acme cartoon that's ever happened.
Yeah, but what it really does is, because the bad guy, obviously, it does something different for the bad guy whenever he puts it on.
Well, they kind of hint about that when Ben Stein is on, because Ben Stein is this psychologist who sort of insists that everyone wears a mask, metaphorically speaking.
Right.
And so everybody has their own identity that they put forth toward the world. So your mask allows your subconscious desires to really come out and you to live life to your fullest, depending on, what's the strongest in your subconscious. Like the criminal guy obviously has really, dark, twisted.
Well, see, and that's my question though. Because I was.
How does the mask determine what to like emphasize about your personality?
Well, no, I was seriously thinking about this. Okay, if you found the mask and you put it on,
what would you be like?
What would you be like? And I was trying to think, like, okay, seriously, what? And there's a part of me that thinks it would be, I would put the mask on and I would like fly around the room and do the whole thing and then go smoking and then just take a nap.
So it would really just emphasize your old man tendencies.
Just be like, I would no, look, I'm ignoring a phone call.
Guys, listeners, let's just clear something up right now. I don't make fun of Jason's actual age.
That's not an old thing. I've been like that my whole life.
You're just an old codger at heart. Like, that's you.
It makes sense now.
Yep, it sure does.
Yeah, I'm gonna go avoid some social situations. I'm
gonna be overpoweredly introverted. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the most introverted being I could. But
Now, see,
what would you be? What would
Oh,
happen?
God, I have no idea.
It's kind of scary, isn't it? 'Cause-
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah. And if I ever really get down to the bedrock of it, it just, I don't know.
I mean, let's be honest. Every guy who put it on would just be shagging every woman. I mean,
Probably.
I mean,
It's a very Bacchanal situation.
I
but, yeah.
mean, it's like, oh, it's a mask that lets you accomplish whatever's your deep-seated desire. So you'd be killing people you don't like and having sex.
You'd be a Gazorpian.
Yeah, you would be a Gazorpazorp. Yeah.
Oh, so in that case, then I'd probably be one of the Amazon female Gazorpians.
Yes.
I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just telling you how I feel.
What do they always say?
The great passive aggression.
What do they say? Like their greeting?
Oh, I'm here if you need to talk.
Yeah.
And your base ends at your neck, making you look like a party clown. So that would probably be me
The spider in
perfectly.
Zone 3 is still alive.
Plan your route accordingly. We're not trying to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
We're just trying to tell you how we feel. But yes, let's save your Earth from destruction from this male Gazorpian. But first, mojitos, which is just. I love that their war was called the Great Passive Aggression.
I know.
It's
and,
so
and,
accurate.
And the worst crime you can commit is having bad bangs.
It's the second worst crime you can
Oh, that was
commit,
the second worst?
emitting the noise that does not
The noise
exist.
that doesn't- yeah.
That we do not make because it does not exist. But yeah, I'd probably turn into that lady from. I'd be that Amazonian Gazorpian.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know I probably wouldn't like it. Whatever I turned into, I'd probably go, oh, damn.
Yeah. I think all of us would be surprised, honestly. Listeners, tweet at us what you think
Yeah.
the mask would turn you into.
Yeah.
At Darth_Jader_.
Well, you could also tweet to our show.
That too. But I mean,
we do have one.
yeah, it's at Hindsight Horror, and Jason's at North Foggy if you like.
No.
The last thing that happens, because he does have a big night. He destroys his apartment building with his first night at the mask. He unravels
There's
this
Amy
band of
Asbeck.
gangs, and then he sodomizes a pair of mechanics with a pair of mufflers.
Sodomize is such a strong word.
Only in the strictest legal definition.
But in the comic book, he did the same thing but killed them.
Oh my.
Yeah, because that's the whole thing in the comic book. He's basically a villain.
Yeah,
He's like Mr. Big Head in the comic book.
Kind of, yeah. They even say that in this article that I've got in front of me, because originally he had kind of a Brendan Fraser-y kind of effect, like with the Mummy, because the Mummy was originally supposed to be.
Hey, it's Captain America.
Ew, no,
No,
he's not
I
nearly
know.
as good looking as Chris Evans. Chris Evans, don't listen. But yeah, Jim Carrey
I
had
Loved You and Not Another Teen Movie.
Oh my.
His greatest movie.
Quiet you. But Jim Carrey had a very he lightened up the effect of this movie because it was originally supposed to be a lot darker than it is, but
Yeah.
Jim Carrey's so funny that he just lightened up the material. And to that end, they actually saved a lot of money on special effects with Jim Carrey because he's so talented at being zany and moving around in unnatural ways that they didn't have to do as many
he's Fire
touch-ups.
Marshal Bill.
What?
You don't know Fire Marshal Bill?
No, I've heard this before, but why?
Mad TV.
Oh,
Oh, wait, no, in Living Color.
I was like,
I can never remember. They're the same.
they're one and the same.
Whatever. They're
In
both
Living
canceled.
Color, where Jim Carrey first kind of started out.
Yeah,
didn't he?
yeah.
In
That was
Living Colour.
that was his whole thing. Well, in fact, he was a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Because that's where
I vaguely remember
that's where
this.
the yellow suit comes from that he wears.
Oh my god!
It's
I forget. Okay, this is coming back to me
Yeah,
now.
it's based on a suit that his mom made for him to wear in his stand-up.
See, I don't think I ever actually saw these things. I think I've seen clips from when he's done interviews where they've talked to him about In Living Color, because I don't remember this directly.
I mean, the dude's been around.
No, he's been around for almost 40 years.
Real quick though, I want to talk about Artie, because the thing, when you watch these movies and you haven't seen them in a long time, you're inevitably going to be surprised.
Well, yeah.
Like I watched Beverly Hills Cop the other day, and it blew me away that one of the bad guys in Beverly Hills Cop is the old dude from Better Call Saul.
Yeah, who also plays Ben Wyatt's dad on Parks and Recreation.
Yeah. But Peter Riegert or Riegert, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's one or the other. He plays the cop, the lieutenant in this movie, and the whole time I'm watching this, I'm just thinking, I know this guy from somewhere. I know him from somewhere. It's Artie from Kimmy Schmidt.
And also Boone from Animal House. But more recently, yes, he's Artie
yeah.
from Kimmy Schmidt. But there's your pretty reporter lady.
Yeah, I love Amy Asbeck. She was great. She was great in Robin Hood Men in Tights. I mean, she's
my chastity belt.
well, she's super talented on stage. I mean, she has a hell of a stage career. You know,
like B. Arthur level or bigger. I know it's hard to tell. They give her a terrible dad joke though, which is kind of in keeping because when she comes into the bank to talk to Stanley because she ties him to the mechanics, and
not literally.
Well, you don't know what they were doing off screen, but Mr. Drysdale,
Mr. Drysdale.
We're never gonna stop doing that, are we?
Amy Asbeck is tying someone to the mechanics.
What a mercy. Yeah, we've been doing that at rehearsal too much too.
Yeah.
Oh God. Anyway, so she ties him
Only
to
implied consent, Batman. Hey, you don't get it. You weren't there. But you can imagine.
You can imagine if you were, right?
Serious journalists.
Yes, big time. But yeah, so she does tie Stanley to the mechanic shop, and he recognized her, and he's like, "Oh, Peggy, Avast Peggy," because she was like sort of a Dear Abby figure in the newspaper. He's like, "I wrote to you, Stanley Ipkiss. Nice guys finish last," and they connect for a minute, and she says, "Oh, yeah," because he's like, "Yeah, nobody wants a nice guy." And she goes, "Sure they do. Most women think that monogamy is some sort of wood."
Wah, wah, wah.
It's so bad.
These were jokes that they made back then, and we laugh.
They manufactured them on purpose. And because they were told, in this case, by a pretty lady.
Yeah.
You would have laughed at that if she had said it in a bar.
Amy Asbeck, you're so funny.
I'm getting you another drink while I laugh at this terrible joke. I hope you're coming home with me later.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Are you finished with that one? Hurry up.
Yeah, down it. Oh, try and keep up.
Do you have any other jokes? Why are they British all of a sudden?
I'm not sure. You're the one who got British.
I realized today because I was talking to my wife and
like you do.
Yeah, and I said something about a British lady, and I realized I have
You're like
all
a
these...
British lady and a garden, and your plants agree.
Shut up! Shut the up! Jesus!
Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm like a British lady.
See?
I know. Now it's in my head.
I want to take a stupid face and shove it.
I don't mind though because anytime a Bob Burger song gets in my stuck in my head.
That's his name. It's Bob Burgers.
Bob Burger.
Teddy. No, it's not.
You get some T-shirts. Put Bob Burger on them.
Why haven't you done that before, Bobby? You should get some marketing.
Don't feed a guy a sponge. I could do this all day.
I ate that earlier.
I could literally just make Bob's Burgers references all day for a whole show.
That could be.
We could just do an episode.
Yeah,
where we just say Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, there's a John Mulaney reference about that where he kind of wishes that iced tea would. You know what I'm talking about?
Water tea. I care
that's
now.
Rick and Morty. But John Mulaney said there was an episode of SVU where Ice-T did not understand what a pedophile is, despite the fact that he works in the special victims unit, and he's just naming off different examples of like, oh, so this guy likes little girls with pigtails. Oh, like those people who can't stop gambling at casinos. And John Mulaney's like, I could literally watch 45 minutes of Ice-T do that, and then executive producer Dick Wolf. So yeah, we could do a whole
Wolf joint.
Oh my God. Yeah, we could do that for sure with Bob's Burgers references. There's 9 years of material to work with.
No, but what I realize is I have many British men voices that I can do. But I seem to have basically one British woman voice, and it's very limiting. I think I'm going to actually see if I can get a handicap sticker for my car. because I was trying to do Kate Middleton, and who wasn't? I was trying to do Kate Middleton earlier today, and it came out, just, I'm Kate Middleton.
Mr. Drysdale. That's what it sounds like.
Hello, I'm Kate Middleton.
Oh, God. See, I actually did this semi-prank at a party once where I was in the middle of an Aaron Kraskol impression. He's this guy on Vine and Twitter, and he's a big deal on the internet. But he has this bit where he'll go up to ladies in department stores who are looking at something or, looking at a dress, and he'll walk up and he'll say, "Psst, there's a good pair of shoes over there. What'll go good with that dress? See you later." And then he just walks away from them. And I was in the middle of that sentence, and this kid rushes up to me at this party, and he's like, oh my God, you're from London. And I was like, sitting there for a second, just waiting to see where this was going. It went on. And he's like, oh my God, see, I'm from England. I know I don't sound like I'm from England, but my whole family is. And I'm so excited to meet somebody from my home country. He's like, I haven't had an accent because we moved when I was so young. And like, it's so nice to meet somebody from.
It's great to meet you.
No, I switched. Well, because I have more than one British lady.
Yeah,
Aaron Kraskell's a guy, but I just was putting on his accent, and I was like, oh, well, I've actually got something to confess. I'm from Surrey. And he was like, oh, that's okay. I don't care where you're from. It's just nice to meet somebody. And I was like, dude, I am messing with you so hard right now. I felt so terrible.
I would have kept that going forever.
No, my friends were starting to laugh at me, and I was falling apart. So it was a mess.
Oh, yeah, I'm from, I'm upper class.
Start talking like Eddie Izzard and then move on. It's much more, you can't get into the mysticism of it, can you? It's just la 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 la. All right, so the mask.
Salisbury Plain is very ooh.
Instead of a circus vibe. Oh, now Hootie and the Blowfish are about to. They're about to rob a bank. We said he's got the very Darius Rucker look.
Look, the last thing that they did was a Burger King commercial. Do you realize that? That was the last time the world saw Hootie was in a Burger King commercial.
No, they see him all the time. He's Darius Rucker now because he doesn't like to be called Hootie, but he still tours and he does Hootie and the Blowfish music.
Screw you, man. Come on, you're Hootie.
Yeah.
You will always be Hootie.
No, that's why he does. Hell, he sang No Diggity at the last concert I saw him in, so he's gone off the rails. Hootie, you're awesome. And we will always call you Hootie.
Yes, Hootie is awesome.
But so we're on Jim Carrey's second night as the Mask, where at first he tries to get rid of the mask. He throws it out of his window, thinking that it's just, he doesn't want to mess with it.
Right.
And it mysteriously spins back into his home like a boomerang. Were you Aussies responsible for that? I think you were. So.
No, the Norwegians invented the boomerang.
Yeah, but when you think boomerang, you think Australia.
They stole it from us.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. See, he's got another voice.
No, I've got lots of voices. My British ladies' voices are very limited.
Well, technically,
I'm the Queen of England.
Well, whenever you imitate Bob, he's like a British lady in his garden.
Yeah, that's true.
And his plants agree. But
what you want with your jugfish?
God.
Halibut.
Anyway, so Jim Carrey finally kind of embraces the mask on the second night, and because he has a dream about Cameron Diaz and being rich and having a nice car. So
like everyone did back in the 90s.
Sort of, yeah. But so his solution to this is he turns out his pockets. There are moths flying out of them, and he's like, oh, well, I guess I need some money to go to the Coco Bongo Club. So he robs a bank. And the way he busts out of the bank, Tasmanian Devil style, in that little twister, he kills Hootie.
Yeah.
He mortally injures Hootie from the Hootie and the Blowfish bank robbing gang. And then he goes to a nightclub, like you do. And Cameron Diaz sings with the soulful voice of another woman. Now, don't get me wrong. She looks fantastic and she's good.
Well,
she
they
moves
did that.
well.
I mean, that was... I actually... one of my all-time favorite movies is... probably...
Death Race 2000?
God, that movie's so awesome. So awesome.
I haven't watched it. I'm kind of scared.
No,
I'm really excited too.
Yeah,
at the same time,
you have to watch it with your significant other.
Oh, I do. I'm sure he'll.
Are you kidding me? A car man? I mean, because he's a he's a petrol head. I'm sure he's seen.
It's the most British thing you're going to say all day.
I'm sure he has seen Death Race 2000.
He has not. I ran it past him last night.
Are you kidding me?
No, he wasn't familiar with it.
Well,
he grew up overseas. Remember, he lived in like Uzbekistan and lived in Malaysia and such. So he didn't grow up with the same kind of movies that we did. But,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
no. But what I was going to say, the greatest movie, one of my all-time favorite movies, is Dark City.
Okay.
Which is a movie that, admittedly, very few people have seen. I think.
Mm-hmm.
It came out in '96. I saw it in the theater. It's just a phenomenal movie. But one of the interesting things about that is that Jennifer Connelly plays a lounge singer in that movie. And in the original movie that was in the theaters, and the original DVD that was released, her song was sung by a British singer named Anita Kelsey.
Okay.
Who I actually, in like the early dark days of the internet.
Oh, goodness.
No, I actually, I was looking something up about the movie and I emailed her and we traded CDs and I actually have Anita Kelsey's like demo CD.
God, you have all the coolest toys. And listeners, for those of you who don't know, we're going to do the Birdcage eventually because that movie is just it's pure magic.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Fosse. But Jason actually has the portrait of Gene Hackman from the Birdcage. I get this very Bruce Wayne vibe off of you from all the toys that you've collected. Like, I want
Japanese.
What?
How do you know? Because I bought it in Japan.
Oh my god. But I get this sort of Bruce Wayne vibe off of you. I want to see your house and see all the eclectic things that you've collected over the years.
Well,
but there's a swing band moment for you there. They get full zoot suit up in the club because we talked through Cameron Diaz's number, which I'm surprised you weren't just ogling the screen.
Well, it's basically if I turn my head and look at the screen,
I'm never gonna look away. But yeah, this is an iconic scene, and there's actually I need to put a link to this video on YouTube because I think Jason's getting dumber as we speak because of Cameron Diaz in this nighty dress that she's rocking, and Jim Carrey in his big yellow zoot suit. But they go up and do this big swing number. And there was a couple at, I think it was Comic-Con several years back, who did this entire scene together. Like they were in some big hall and they cleared a big circle in the crowd.
Really, is that them? That can't be Jim Carrey and Cameron Diaz doing that.
I think it's a mixture. It's a mixture of both because some of the dance moves are way too intense.
Yeah, like, there's just no way.
In the one where he spins her around as he's spinning her around him, you can clearly tell that it's a double.
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, because that would be Cameron Diaz, who died in 1997.
Yeah, no, that
yeah,
like he kisses her and her shoes literally fly
suck
off.
on this.
Yeah, hey Hootie, while you're dying, have a last cigarette.
But he literally says, "Suck on this." I'm like, those are the last words that man heard.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. He says it in a gentle way.
Your boss telling you to suck on this.
Yeah, because in what context has anybody ever used that for?
No one. No one in history.
The only thing that would even come close is cigars, and that's puff. That's not suck. That's weird. I think he was just trying to sound street. But Peter Green, the guy who plays Dorian, who said "suck on this," he used to do a lot of porn. So maybe that's
really.
Yeah, he's got some dirty movies out there.
I
googled him earlier, and apparently he's got kind of a Tommy Lee sort of a history.
So that's a nod to his past.
Exactly, and that's how you get the girl, guys. Be a sleazy douchebag club owner, and you'll get somebody like Cameron Diaz. Although of any of the men in this movie, her real life husband is definitely
who is her?
I can't remember his name, but he looks like he belongs in the Limp Bizkit band. So kind of. And like back in the day, I mean,
wait, hang on a second. What? How did you phrase it?
The Limp Bizkit band. Yes.
Is that like a bluegrass?
They're a band. They play side banjo. Okay, that's what it is. They play it on the weekends.
Well, that's like in the
they did it all for the bluegrass.
In the Twin Peaks revival that came out last year. And I think the actor just messed this up, but there is at the end of every episode they cut back to the Bang Bang Club, the Roadhouse, and David Lynch picked like the best musicians that are around to do a song at the end of pretty much every episode.
Okay.
Au revoir Simone and just all these great, but Limp Bizkit's not Limp Bizkit, 9 Inch Nails, and the guy
very different.
No, the guy introduces them as the 9 Inch Nails, and it's great because in the credits they're actually credited as the 9 Inch Nails in the credit, but the is in quotes.
Well, at least somebody knew what they were doing. Oh, but this moment, okay, so now this is where things kind of collide because Jim Carrey, the mask, robs the bank, he gets Hootie killed, and Dorian, the club guy, is really upset about it, Cameron Diaz's boyfriend. But, so now they're trying to kill the mask, and they can't because he keeps dodging bullets and stuff, and he's got this iconic line where he pretends that they shot him, and he's just like, coughing and
Well, he's
dying.
doing every
He's like,
death scene.
Yeah, every
from
death
every
scene.
movie,
Like,
yeah.
well, he's combining a bunch of different movies. He's like, tell Annie I'm to let old Yeller out. Tell Tiny Tim I won't be coming home this Christmas. Tell Scarlett I do give a damn. It's fantastic.
What I love, my favorite part of this though, is when it goes to the Academy Awards thing when Dorian
And he misquotes.
Well, yeah, not Jodie Foster. Sally Field.
That hot Sally Field ass.
Shut up! I'm not any happier about this than you are. She was cute in that movie.
No, and they actually dated in real life.
She was very cute in that movie.
No, they dated in real life, and Bert describes her as the one who got away.
Yes.
Like it's just I don't.
She was adorable in.
Get
in
your
Smokey
shit
and the
together,
Bandit.
Seth MacFarlane, because Sally Field's
funny
beautiful.
in 15 damn years.
Yeah.
No, my favorite part though is when they're doing the awards thing and Dorian straightens his tie because he's on TV.
I've never noticed that.
Yeah, it's great. He looks at the camera and straightens his tie and
well, because everything that happens around the mask is real in the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's what they went. That was kind of the director's choice. It's like, okay,
There's
if you're
Artie.
Yep, Artie showed up. Artie Boone / Lieutenant Kellaway, which is his name in this show. But it's fantastic. He just does all these impressions and then bounces away like a little maniac. And
I wish the Mandarin collar would come back. I like that shirt. With the straight collar.
No,
like
I see.
that.
It's a little Amish looking, but okay.
I mean, it's kind of John Lennon-ish, but I like it. I wish it would come back.
See, you guys, Jason's just really wishing for clothes that will help him dissolve into the background so that he can be introverted in public.
The Gray Man.
Exactly.
Yes.
There you go. Or the thing from Scream, the painting.
What?
The screaming painting.
Oh, you said from Scream. I thought you meant the movie Scream.
No. But
there's a Rick and Morty version of that painting, and it's awesome.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
But we see an important moment because Jim Carrey's tie gets shot off when he's bouncing around the club and they're shooting at him, and it morphs back into his very loud pajamas, which Lieutenant Kellaway, when he first meets Jim Carrey, he's like, oh yeah, your neighbors got robbed or whatever, and he's like, that's impossible. He goes, those pajamas are impossible, Ipkiss, are you serious? And so he notices the pattern that gets left behind. So now that leads him back to Stanley the next day, who has a closet full of stolen bank money
and
a dog that will just not quit with that Frisbee, Milo.
Well, and it's funny because as a dog owner, and I'm sure you probably felt the same way, whenever he goes into his apartment earlier in the movie and he's like, I'm really tired, and the dog's like,
you're home.
Here, Frisbee. And he's like, you want me to throw the Frisbee? Like, I totally know that feeling. When you come home and your dog's like, throw this.
My day just started. And you're like, mine is trying to wind down.
Yeah. I'm at work now because you're home.
But see, that's a sign of respect in dogs, actually, that all that fuss and circumstance they give because you're the leader of their pack. So they're freaking out like, the leader is here. Yay!
Dogs are so awesome.
They are.
If you don't like dogs,
get out of here.
Yes. No.
No apologies necessary.
Yeah, no apologies. We joke about Canada. No, we don't joke about Australia.
We joke about every other country.
If you don't like dogs, turn this off, go away, and shoot yourself.
GTFO.
Yeah.
So, and just the fact, and his dog kind of exists to shoot him in the foot for the most part of this movie.
Yeah.
And you get one of those introductory, little details that you think don't matter in the beginning where Milo, this little spring-loaded Jack Russell Terrier, who can jump about 5 feet in the air, he jumps straight into Jim Carrey's arms and he's like, now, that's against the doggy prime directive. You're not supposed to jump, or something like that.
Jack Russells are nuts, man.
They are.
They're because that's like Eddie on Frasier.
Uh-huh.
He
I don't know how they got Eddie to be so stoic.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did it. They must have had him on tranks half the time.
By the way, Frasier, it's coming back. Yeah,
you wouldn't lie to me, would you?
No, I saw that and I was like, holy crap, Kelsey Grammer is going to be back on TV.
Oh my god.
Kelsey Grammer, I don't want to live in this world because in a perfect world, there would never not be a Kelsey Grammer show.
No. He had to be Sideshow Bob for so many years.
Wait, okay, so I just want to interrupt where we are because we're now in a sequence that is strange. I think the Cuban dance number.
The Cuban Pete.
Is that what it's called?
It's my name is Cuban Pete. I'm the king of the rumba beat. Yeah. But it's just this random bit. Yeah, because we've got
It's
gotta
really long.
It is, because, you start at this, it's even called Landfill Park, and it's like a little toxic waste dump of a park, and that's why the lights are so pretty at sunset, apparently.
Yeah, because he says that line about the methane catching the
gas.
the rays of the sun.
Exactly. So he and Cameron Diaz have a nice romantic moment, but then get busted by Lieutenant Kellaway, and in order to escape, the mask basically becomes a mariachi, like, looking dancer / singer, and sort of somehow inexplicably enchants all of the police force into dancing.
And some prostitutes.
Yep, some prostitutes. Today's word is hooker. Oh, wait, that was Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But yeah, so he does this.
And a nun.
Yeah.
Amish lady?
A Mennonite? I don't know.
Actually, no.
He kisses this random lady in the street, and Boone / Kellaway is chasing the mask because they know that he's kind of linked to all of these crazy things like the bank robbery and whatever else has been going on. So Stanley's officially in trouble in real life because of the things that have happened or the things that he's done while he's been the mask.
Right.
So we're kind of getting toward the crux of the movie where, there's Peggy.
Yeah, this is Act 3. There's going to be, the sudden reversal, which will be Peggy, Amy Yazbek betraying him to the bad guys.
Yeah. Which you don't really see coming, honestly. They did a good job with that because she's sort of like his little potential love interest.
I did see it coming.
Did you?
And I'll tell you why.
Oh.
Because I was thinking like, okay, she's being all sweet and romantic to him, but he's ending up with Cameron Diaz. So it can't be that he's going to break her heart. It's got to be that she doesn't really love him.
Okay, fair enough.
She's got to be faking it. And, of course, she says, I've been vamping here for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Well, in the fact that she shows up out of the clear blue sky, which, I mean, I guess you could write off as the fact that she's a reporter and she's tailing Stanley or whatever.
Well, there was a scene. There was a scene where, like, the other reporter said, they've got your friend at the park downtown.
Oh, that's right. She's like, oh, Stanley. And then she yeah, that's true. That's true. Without sound, I amazingly get lost in these films. But
wow, in a Jim Carrey movie.
Hey. But yeah, he's just, she's sort of vamping with the same little routine that pretty much every woman seems to play on him. Like, oh, Stanley, you're such a nice guy. Like, I wish I could be with a guy like you. And then he just gets screwed over.
Right, yeah.
Poor Stanley.
Yeah, it's I sure do wish I could be with a guy like you who was nice. It's like, well, what the hell is stopping you?
Then why are you selling me down the river? Like, I just don't understand. And yeah, so she's sitting there and being all sweet with him. And then
it looks like it's a bird of happiness left a little duty on your finger.
It's basically, God.
Robin Hood reference.
Oh, I know, it just that took me off guard because I was going for a chastity belt thing where Stanley just never has the key to anybody's chastity belt.
No, but he does win the Super Bowl, because he gets Cameron Diaz. So,
hey, yeah, that's true.
He's just been saving it up all these years.
Hey, and when you're saving it up for a bombshell like Cameron Diaz in 1994,
I'm Carl, the one with fabulous hair.
FBI stone holding.
Please do.
We did this in Lethal Weapon. We gotta stop. But
no, I'm just looking at the amazing hair on the henchman. And
yeah,
it's like,
I'm Carl, the one with the fabulous hair.
But I actually noticed that in the scene where Cameron Diaz walked out of the police station, which is coming up, where all the bad guys have incredibly bad guy looking haircuts.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why they were cast.
Like the one bald guy who he's completely bald except for a ponytail, which is just like saying, I want the worst possible. What is the worst possible outcome of having hair? If you're a guy?
Being bald on the top but having a mullet everywhere else.
I think the ponytail beats it.
Really?
I think ponytails, for all you guys out there who have ponytails, come on.
That too. If Jim Carrey had a ponytail, he'd be hosed right now because they're holding him over like this. Where are they? They're in this factory.
It's the printing
press.
Yeah, it's the printing press.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And they're holding him over the printing press. If he had long hair, it would have been sucked in and he would have been smashed to death by now. So thank goodness Jim Carrey had the sense to have shorter hair back then.
Yeah, but he didn't have the sense enough to realize, well, I can let myself die, or I can, as a complete coward, give this incredibly powerful weapon to an obvious psychopath.
Who turns into... What would you even call this version? He's got red eyes as the.
He kind of looks like Skeletor from Masters of the Universe.
No,
the
he
movie,
does.
You know,
but he doesn't have the right. He's got such a deep voice, and he's now really evil.
Yeah.
And instead of "you ninny," like it's just the opposite.
Oh, gee, Davy, I'm all evil now.
But yeah, he's got this
old
really
reference.
sinister version of the mask going on. So Dorian has the ultimate weapon that's going to help him become the ultimate gangster.
And all of his cronies are like, okay.
And now we've got to have a, nice Dorothy moment because Stanley's got to discover that everything that he ever needed was in his backyard all along.
Aww.
Like, he's got to become him, he's got to just be himself and save the day. But oh no, that's the worst hair situation right there. That guy that just passed.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Oh, he's bald literally everywhere, and it's just like a rat
tail. The
tail.
only thing he has is a ponytail.
It's not even a ponytail. It's like this horrendous rat tail situation. But then, of course, you get Milo the dog, Jim Carrey's dog,
Aww.
who is bad because he jumps and he doesn't let the frisbee go when he's supposed to. But his little bad qualities are what make him...
He still has his testicles.
He does.
He does.
You see it in that shot.
They're very explicit about establishing that he is an intact male.
Hey, Milo is a man. Thank you very much. He
is
saves
a
the
man.
day.
Yeah.
He's the hero of the movie,
Big
really.
balls.
Not quite Van Wilder Bulldog.
Oh, that jet is right on my back.
That is a lumbar paradise. And somehow...
I love that dog.
Oh, he's great.
Oh, he's so sweet.
Somehow, this dog is able to chase down
My dog
a
wouldn't
car.
do this.
My dog would. She's basically Rin Tin Tin.
No,
She's awesome.
My dog would go, wonder what's on TV. There's somebody else in the house who will feed me.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, there are other humans.
Sid, if you're listening, buddy, I'm just kidding, man.
Millie, I know you'll rescue me. You're awesome. I love you. But, oh yeah, so they frame Stanley Ipkiss. And
in the silly, like, the cop wouldn't go, well, this seems a little odd.
Yeah, because he's bandaged. Like, they put a bandage over his mouth and tie his hands together and dump him out in front of the police station with, like, a big bag of money.
Aha, I've got you.
Oh, how every good police investigation comes to a close.
And I guess they went on Amazon. Yeah, they went on Amazon and bought a green mask.
Yeah, I think that's... Yeah, they gave him a mask and, like, some money or something, and... I think that's how they brought Walter White down.
Yeah, I think it was. Well, they really, really, Breaking Bad ripped off most of the mask.
Oh yeah, the mask was way previous to Breaking Bad. If you guys look into the history of it,
I mean, the dog was oh crap, what's his name?
Walt Jr.
No, damn it, the guy who's on BoJack now. It's on Breaking Bad. His former student.
Oh, Jesse Pinkman.
Yes, thank you, Jesus. Yeah, that's the dog.
I didn't realize that Aaron Paul was on BoJack.
Oh yeah,
now.
he's awesome. Oh, he's awesome on BoJack. Yeah,
no, he's fantastic with everything he does. But you have such you have such a heartbreaking moment there because they threw Stanley into a jail cell and he basically has to tell his dog, like, "Go on, buddy, live." Be happy. I'm gonna be in here forever, and Milo just
and then
whimpers
Cameron Diaz
and hides.
comes in and go on, Cameron Diaz, go on, be happy.
He white fangs them both.
Yeah,
go, be happy, live your best life.
Like his mom shows up. Go on, mom, be happy, live the rest of your life.
His boss shows up. Ipkiss, you're 45 hours late. Go on, boss, be happy.
Go on, boss.
Tell Annie Am to let yell her out. So he's white fanging everybody in his existence right now. But Cameron Diaz is basically, she's got to stop at the jail cell and let Stanley know that she's got to blow town. And
what? Oh, town.
Oh, God.
Well,
got y'all wound up in the corner.
I didn't. It's a good movie.
It's not that kind of a movie. It hints. But yeah, so we get...
God damn, Cameron Diaz was good looking.
I mean, she's still a good looking lady.
Oh, she still is. Well, and the whole story too was that they, at least according to the internet, that
then it's got to be accurate.
I think it was either the director. I think it was the director who said he saw her coming out of a modeling agency, and said that's her, and if it's not her, I'm not going to do the movie. Which does beg the question. I guess, was he like parked in a van outside of the modeling agency?
Was it down by the river?
Well, no, it was like, I saw you coming out of the modeling agency and I want you to be in my movie.
I was taking some snapshots with my Nikon 3000.
Yes.
It's made for spy camera equipment.
Hollywood.
Yes.
It's magical.
Well, yeah, you say all that's going on. So I'm not really sure about the credibility of Cameron Diaz being in this movie, but she does a great job. So, but this is a cute moment where Jim Carrey's got to get Milo. He's got to encourage Milo's bad habit of jumping.
Yes,
and all of a sudden the dog doesn't want to do it naturally. So
put some effort into it.
Come on. Oh, yeah. Milo, come on, buddy.
Well, and it is good that Officer Deus Ex Machina is the one who's guarding him.
Yeah. He's incredibly lucky. But now, Milo's being encouraged to do something bad, and he's hesitant, but he's like, come on, jump. And so he jumps up and gets into the jail cell, and then there's the challenge of the dog never being able to find Stanley's keys.
Right, yeah.
But then he does.
Which was established, to their credit. They did establish the whole thing with the keys.
And the jumping, everything. And the Frisbee, because he would never let go of the Frisbee. And then by the time he gets Stanley busted out of the jail cell, he won't let go of the keys either.
Right.
So all that, Howling Wolf and Jumping Dog and all that stuff does get established in the first act pretty
Cameron
solidly.
Diaz running from cars. Ooh, my leg's all windy.
Well, I mean, she could pull some Charlie's Angel shit right here, but oh wait, no, it's not 1999 yet, so she doesn't know how to do that.
This is the thing, ladies. Don't date a guy who looks like the dude from Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, that's lesson learned, especially if he did porn in.
I was about to say, if he looks like the guy from Peaky Blinders and he was a porn star,
that's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah,
Yay, Milo made it up to the window. But yeah. Oh, and my cousin and I, we loved this movie when we were kids. Justin, shout out to you, is when I told him we were doing this movie, because Milo, when he's going to get the keys, he grabs a slice of cheese off of the officer sandwich, and he's like, no, not the cheese, the keys. And that's just something Justin and I always loved when we were 5 and 6 years old when this movie came out.
That's a good bit. That it is.
And back to the Coco Bongo, where the whole movie comes to a crux. And honestly enough, is the nightclub Coco Bongo that the mask enters into is also the name of Jim Carrey's nightclub in Cancun, Mexico. So,
is it?
Yeah, apparently
that's
so.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love that these guys have their own, you got the Murray brothers have their own place.
Johnny Depp's got the Viper Room in L.A. Well, he did. I don't think he owns it
I was about
anymore.
to say,
it's been a while.
I think his ex-wife owns that now.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think he sold it after River Phoenix died, but I could be completely wrong about that. So don't quote me on that one. But yeah, you got all the big wigs of the mafia world.
And the mayor.
And the mayor.
And the mayor.
The mayor's got... Well, because there's some big gala happening where they're raising money for the city or something like that, and Kellaway, the lieutenant, is on his way. So everyone is closing in on the Coco Bongo. And then Dorian, evil De Niro Dorian over here with his new mask.
But he doesn't really do anything with the mask powers. It just gives him the self-confidence.
No. He absolutely does something, because the police light him up right now. He gets packed full of bullets.
Yeah.
And then he turns himself into an Acme machine gun and just spits all the bullets back at the police. So he does do that.
Yeah, you're right.
But he's not nearly as creative as Stanley, who just goes nuts with his powers. You're totally. It's a way more fun with Jim Carrey as the mask. But that's kind of the point, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
And it becomes this game, this whole game of, who's gonna wear the mask next, because Dorian's got it on, and his friend. I forgot about this. Stanley's friend is there from the bank, who's gonna be his little accomplice. He's like, here, have a gun and back me up.
See, because the magic was within the whole time.
Exactly.
See, all he needed was the confidence to believe in himself.
Just click your heels 3 times. But yeah, there's this big bomb that's about to go off in 9 minutes and 56 seconds. And the second Stanley gets ready to charge, somebody's got a gun on him already.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's, Stanley attempting to be an action hero, it is.
And why do you leave the dog in the car? He's gonna. Oh yeah, because they show up, and Milo figures his way out of the back of the car, and Boone / Kellaway is like, "Wow, smart dog." He can see that the dog's like, "Hey guys, we need to go inside," but the lieutenant just sits in the car, which is not very helpful.
Is he not tied up or anything?
I think. Oh yeah, you know what? I think Stanley handcuffs him.
He has his handcuffs on him.
We're kind of fast forwarding, so I think Stanley handcuffed him to the door. But now we've got a Nell tied to the train track situation, because Cameron Diaz is tied to the coconut tree or whatever tree in the middle of the club, and she conveniently kicks the mask up in the air And it's spinning like a frisbee, so guess who catches it? Milo the dog. We can rebuild him. We have the technology.
Didn't they make a sequel where like...
I hope not.
No, there was. There was a sequel called Son of the Mask.
Oh, yeah. First of all, they did another movie with Jamie Kennedy, which was a mistake.
Wait, really? Like an actual straight up sequel?
Yeah, Jamie Kennedy was involved. So now here's what's happening. Milo ran off with the mask, and one of the bad guys grabbed his little back legs, and so his face falls forward, and he dips his little dog face into the mask. And now it's just this crazy dog on crack running around the Coco Bongo while Jim Carrey's trying to...
Which, let's be honest, I mean, we were headed that way the whole time.
Well, yeah, that had to happen.
And it's actually interesting, though, because the mask in this last sequence, Jim Carrey as the mask only shows up at the very end. You know? Like, this whole sequence is what's his name? Stanley?
Yeah, Stanely Ipkiss.
It's really Stanley. You know, Stanley is actually doing the fighing.
He's doing the heroic stuff to prove to himself that he's not just a nobody. And
God, what would my dog be like with the mask on?
I don't even want to know. Millie would be like a Tasmanian devil on all the drugs, like methamphetamine and coke. Oh, but there's that great moment. So Stanley jumps behind the bar and you think he's being shot up, and he is. But fortunately, he put the mask on in time. He drinks a big thing of orange juice, and then it starts spilling out of him. Yeah, he's Loki.
He's Loki. I mean, this dude's fought, the Avengers and stuff, you know?
Yeah, but...
I'm waiting for that. They need to...
He didn't survive Thanos, did he?
Oh.
And that's not even Endgame. That's a previous movie. So.
I don't know.
Oh, and the Dirty Harry impression. He whips out like 40 guns in two, and he's just... Now you gotta ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky?
Yeah, and I love that all the flags come out and say
bang, zip, pow. And then he swallows the bomb.
Cameron Diaz is in this movie, I'm noticing.
She's tied to
for the first time I'm noticing.
She's in another tight dress.
It's remarkable.
Oh my God.
How did I not notice that she was in this movie up to this point?
Oh my God, so there's the bomb is about to go off, and Jim Carrey luckily gets to it right before it explodes, and he swallows it as a cartoon, so it explodes in his stomach, and that problem's solved. But yeah, meanwhile, Cameron Diaz is tied up in a tight dress to that tree, so goodness knows men all over the place hated this movie. And this is a fantastic solution to a problem. It's very Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, I was about to say that. This is that is the most Roger Rabbit moment in the entire movie.
Yeah, because there's a little pond near the tree where Cameron Diaz is tied up, and Dorian runs toward them. Jim Carrey literally paints a flush handle onto the tree and flushes Dorian into the ground. And that's it.
And that's the movie.
Problem solved.
Yeah, because from here on out, it's basically he gets rid of the mask.
Well, not technically he doesn't. That's the little twist at the end, is because he gets the girl. Yeah. So that's great. He and Cameron Diaz end up together. But at the very end of the movie, he flings the mask off the bridge, and it actually lets him throw it away this time. Yeah. Instead of flying back at him. But then at the very end, you see that Milo has jumped off the bridge and is swimming to shore with the mask in his mouth.
But he's being chased by Richard Jenny.
Yeah, he's been... Stanley's friend from the bank is like, no, get that dog back over here.
And what you don't see is Jamie Kennedy standing on the bank.
I've already been cast, guys. It's too late.
Yeah, sorry, guys. You're not getting that mask.
I know I ripped off of that Ashton Kutcher show way back, but oh, man. But yeah, it's...
And so, we have what is the beginning of an era. This is the beginning of the Jim Carrey era, which, for better or for worse. Hey. But it's also the beginning of the Cameron Diaz era, and that ain't half bad.
Yeah, because, that's, I think that's a comment my dad made where they kept making the Charlie's Angels movies, and he was like, at this point, I think they're just making those movies based on what they can dress Cameron Diaz in.
Basically.
Yeah, they're not quality movies.
I think at a certain point, the Charlie's Angels movies were like a bad AI. My God, it's replicating itself.
Well, and Jason, here's a fun fact for you. I hope that you'll really appreciate this, because you said that Cameron Diaz was just kind of discovered and placed in this movie. So count your lucky stars, because before casting Cameron Diaz as Tina Carlisle, the producers considered Anna Nicole Smith.
Oh, see that? No. Yeah, that
just no. Yeah,
I mean, God rest her soul. I'm not speaking ill of the woman, but she was appropriate for that one Naked Gun movie.
Oh yeah,
because that
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but no, in this, this needed to be the movie that launched Cameron Diaz's career. You know, I mean, if it wasn't for this movie, Something About Mary never would have happened.
Yeah, and it kind of launched both of them because she made. I don't remember her exact earnings for this money, but it's like you said, you sort of exaggerated into the millions.
A bit.
But it seems impossible. But Jim Carrey was actually only paid $450,000 for the role of the Mask. He actually signed the contract before it was deemed that Ace Ventura was such a big hit, because the movies were shot so close together.
It's amazing to think that in 1947, Jimmy Stewart was paid $450,000 to be in Rope, and Jim Carrey was paid $450,000 in 1997 to be in this. It is staggering to think how much more money that was back then.
Oh, yeah. It's like 1,000 ducats back in the day.
Yeah,
Shakespeare.
yeah.
Which we are doing next weekend, listeners. So get excited. We will
Go get some variant beers, get real drunk, and come out and see the play.
Oh, hell yes. That makes all of Shakespeare better.
Yeah, we'll be drunk. I can promise you that.
I wasn't aware of that until this exact moment. But
I mean, I will be. I can't
have to do what my director says,
you know.
listeners. Drunk Beatrice might be an interesting interpretation. But
you know what you need to do is kill Claudio.
Yeah, that
He's
guy.
an asshole.
He said mean things to my cousin. But yeah, so that more or less wraps up The Mask, one of Darth's childhood favorites. I've always loved this movie. I always will love this movie.
But it's nothing compared to Death Race 2000.
Oh, Death Race 2000.
Next week, ladies and gentlemen, you will get a treat. Go out right now. Buy Death Race 2000.
Our good friend has no idea how deep down the rabbit hole this show goes, guys, so don't give him any warnings. Let him be surprised.
That's true. Well, ladies and gentlemen and smizmars, thank you very much. Like 3 people will get that, but they will get it.
For once, I did not get one of your jokes.
That's a Futurama joke. Thank you very much for spending your daytime, your nighttime, your drive time, or whatever time it was with us as we went back and we looked at a movie that at least one of us loved.
It shaped my childhood. Thank you very damn much.
I know. It's obvious. It's very obvious.
Getting snakes out my bag.
Well, from Hindsight is Horrifying, this is Jason.
And Darth Jader. And if you want to reach out to us, Jason might fix my email in the near future. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna who uses email? Just send her a tweet.
You can do that at the Darth_Jader_ or at Hindsight Horror. I man both of those stations, so hit me up, listeners.
And I am at North Foggy, and
all he does is build models.
Yes,
though,
I do.
so
I'm working on a Spitfire now.
Oh,
great
God.
pictures.
The thrill of the builds.
Yeah.
Buzz from Speed.
I want to find that model. Actually, I already found a website that shows how to convert an existing model of a bus into the bus from Speed.
But
I'm so going to do it.
But have we ever settled the debate as to whether or not Keanu looks better in a long sleeve tee or a short sleeve tee?
That's one for the ages.
It is.
I'll have to consult my scriptures.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again very much. And make sure you are right back here next week for our guest, Adam, and Death Race 2000. From Hindsight is Horrifying, thank you very much. We'll see you next week.
Laters.